Cool, cool, cool. Tim Ruff and New Roses. Hey man, what's going on? What's up?
All good. In the middle of the tour. Tomorrow will be the next little shows in Germany, and we're just great to be back on the road again.
Cool, cool, cool. New album, Sweet Poison, it just came out in the Palm Records. Um, Tell me a little bit about your sign into that label, because that's a little bit heavier label, ain't it?
Yeah. Um, we thought it's the right thing to do because we wanted to be recognized as a rock band.
Right,
We have our influences from the mainstream rock music, just such as Bon Jovi, Bryan Adams, and all these things that are undeniable and that we're proud of.
right,
But we wanted to start off from a heavier point of view, and like teaming up with Napalm gave us the opportunity to play in front of a whole different audience, and play all these hardcore festivals and be recognized by like a whole different kind of people because we were convinced right from the beginning that we will reach the mainstream rock audience,
right,
but we were not sure about reaching with our music, reaching that harder audience by ourselves.
right,
So we wanted to try team up with a partner that supports us in a certain direction.
right. Now the band started in 2007, right?
More or less. I met Urban in 2006, and we started as a cover band, but the New Roses played their first show, I guess, in 2012.
Right. And that's when the self-titled EP came out with
Yes.
three tracks and Tom Petty's Refugee.
Yes.
Was that all self funded and stuff like that, or did you have backing, or how'd that go?
The first EP.
Yeah,
Um, you know, like I said, we came from a cover band. We were a band that made a living from traveling around and playing, I don't know, like songs from Tracy Chapman to Metallica.
cool.
We played everything that we liked, and we made a good living from that. So I had to train my voice to be, have a lot of range and that could navigate through a lot of different emotions and a lot of different approaches to
Right,
music, and that was the best teacher for me. And then we made that first EP, and then it only felt natural to blend it in the original material and take one of those cover songs that we used to play and blend it in,
right,
uh, or blend it over to our original music. That's how the EP came to light.
right. Now in 2016, Dead Man's Voice came out. That was your second release.
So,
How much different was that? Different from the first EP.
you know, our first record, Without a Trace, gave us the opportunity, was a door opener for us because the title song got picked by the a US TV show, Sons of Anarchy.
Right. Uh-huh.
We had no record deal and nothing at that time, so it was a big thing for us to draw some attention to our band.
Right.
And for a year or two, we only went off to play pretty much every biker event that was hosted in Europe, because we were the only band that wasn't from America that was on the soundtrack.
Right.
So of course, there was a lot of interest by the biker scene to get the only European connection to that show. So we did that, and that gave us, put us on the map, and so we got to know Napalm and got a new management for the second record. And from That Man's Voice on, things were different because we had a real record company, we had a real management, and we had all these things going on. And of course, we could start working in a way more professional way. And we went
Right.
out on the road on the Dead Man's Voice tour, and never stopped till today. And only COVID made us take a break, but we've been on tour for 5 years straight.
Wow. Now in 2017, One More for the Road came out, and
Yes.
right after that, Nothing But Wild. Both of them CDs charted and really successful. Um, Will you, attest to, the charting on the German tracks and, the Swiss charts, and you did really well.
Thank you. Yeah. We tried our best, we never tried to lose connection to what we're coming from, and that is blues and the classic rock and roll music, and we try to add a little, different flavors here and there, but we were not really surprised because we always believed in what we do,
Right,
but we were very, like, we felt confirmed in a very emotional way that people receive our music that way.
right, right. Now you got the new CD, Sweet Poison, out. Just came out last month. And you have a video out. Tell me a little bit about the video, and do you enjoy making the videos?
We don't put that much effort in our videos than compared to other bands,
Right,
because we see ourselves as a live act,
right,
and we don't want to draw too much attention to the internet. That's pretty
right,
much the thing. We want to make people get some appetite
right,
for our live shows. That's why we don't put too much effort in those videos. We don't want to send the wrong message. We
right.
want to say, hey, look here, this is a song, you better check that out live because it's 10 times better. um that's why we like making our videos, but we're not, we don't hype it up, we don't, blow it up too much, because we don't want to send that message that, like, this is our new playground and we want
Right.
to, look good on the internet. We want to, yeah, tell people this is, you can listen to the song here, and we got some pictures to give you an impression of what we do, and then you better check us out live because this is what we're, that's what we're came for, that's what we're made for.
Right. When you get to play with high profile bands like the Scorpions and other
Yes.
bands, what goes through your mind, being able to, support them in their show?
A lot, man. One big thing that goes through your head is don't fuck up, man. Because it's they're your idols, especially Kiss, and
Uh,
and we played with Aerosmith, we played with ZZ Top, the Scorpions, Blackfoot, Molly Hatchet, and Foreigner, and all these bands, and you just, don't want to embarrass yourself in front of your, heroes.
right, yeah,
So you want to play a good show, and hang on. So you want to play a good show, and then but you still want to enjoy it at the same time.
right, right,
So you first of all, you think, please don't fuck up, but then you say, hey, go out and have some fun with it. It's,
right,
for 25, 35, 45 minutes, it's your audience, and
right,
you stand on that great stage, and you go to all these great places, and you want to make people know your band, but on the other side, you just want to be the vocalist of a rock and roll band that plays in front of, I don't know, 20,000 people, and you want to enjoy it yourself. So these two things go to my head right before the curtain goes, the curtain falls.
yeah,
I'm like, don't fuck up, but have some fun.
right, yeah, definitely have some fun. Is there anything special that you eat before a show or anything on the road?
Eat.
Yeah,
So about 4 years ago, I stopped eating like dairy products. So I'm
right,
a vegan. I've been vegan for 4 years, and it's changed my life completely. So I'm feeling better than ever, and people say I look much younger than I used to do 15 years ago. But I changed a couple of things in my life that weren't too working against me, I would say,
right,
over the years. But on tour, I tried to um, don't drift away from that too far.
right,
So I never, of course, I stay vegan, but sometimes, you can,
right,
you know, be 100%, and I don't want to get the other guys into trouble because I'm like, I'm not eating this. So I'm trying to,
right,
be aware of the fact that I'm still in a rock and roll band, and
right,
but it helps me a lot to not eat heavy, you
Right.
know. For me as a vocalist, it's like death sentence if you eat like heavy right before a show. So I try not to do that, and I get my main meal of the day after the show. So before I go to the hotel, I get my main meal.
Right. Right. Do you remember like the first CD, cassette, album that you ever bought with your own money?
BB King and Eric Clapton, Riding with the King.
Oh, both great albums.
Yeah. So
Uh,
Riding with the King, that BB King, Eric Clapton, like that record that they teamed up.
yeah.
Um, I didn't know too much about BB King. I didn't actually know him at all because I was just maybe 15 years old.
Right.
And I knew Eric Clapton from that Unplugged record, and I didn't know what to expect because I liked Tears in Heaven,
Oh,
that
yeah.
Unplugged song. I was 15, I thought like, wow, this is good vibe. So I heard that a new record came out, and I jumped on the train and rode to that record store, and I put the headphones on. That used to be
Yeah.
that way back then. You put your headphones, you could listen to the music before you bought it. And the song starts. The first song is "Riding with the King,"
Right.
and it starts off with that great guitar lick, and I was like, wow, this is so good. And then Eric Clapton starts singing, and I'm like, wow, he sings even rougher than on the Unplugged song. And then
Right.
BB King starts singing, and I was like, who the fuck is this, man? It sounded so much powerful. It's so much more powerful than Eric Clapton, and then
Right.
he started playing the guitar, and I was like, holy shit. So that changed my perspective on music totally. I was like, oh, right. And then I looked in the booklet, and I saw Riding with the King is a song written by what's his name? I always forget it. I love the dude, but I always forget his name. He's a great songwriter. I'll look it up. And so and on that record there's so many songs like uh what's the other great song? It's been so many years. Come Rain or Come Shine.
Okay.
It's an old soul classic.
Right.
And John Hyatt, it's his name. Sorry.
Okay.
It's one of those names that I love John Hyatt, but I always forget his name. So I listened to John Hyatt, of course, and then I found out that Come Rain or Come Shine has been played for so many great musicians, and then I found out who all those guys were.
Right.
So that record put a lot of things in motion that I'm very grateful for, and I still have it, of course.
What's the feeling like when you have people waiting just to get your autograph or a picture with you?
I, you know, first I have the impulse that there must be something wrong with those guys. Because I say like, man, I'm the same. I just love rock and roll.
Uh,
But of course I appreciate it so much, and then I realized, okay, these guys are serious about that, and
right.
and of course I am serious. I was the same, I
Right.
was on that side of the stage for a long time, and I was admiring people and musicians that played such a big role in my life. You
Right.
don't know, as a musician, you don't know the
Right.
the impact that you have on people's life. People come to me. Last show we played, somebody came up to me with his wife and said like, hey, we got married to your song. you
Excellent.
know that
Excellent.
is our song. And I was like, wow. I closed my eyes for a second. I tried to picture
Right.
my song, and in some place where I've never been, in some people's life that I don't know that they exist, but I exist, or this band exists in their life, and the song that I wrote. And so then they come up and they want my autograph, and all of a sudden you realize that meaning that this has
Right.
for other people. And so I take that very, very seriously, and we try to take as much time as possible. We're one of the very a few bands that show up after every show. We show
Right.
up in the crowd, and as long as we have, and as long as it takes, to make everybody happy, because we still know how that feels, and so we take that very seriously. And I take the whole show very
Uh,
seriously, and I try to do my very, very best, to make people happy and to make people get what they want and what they wish to
Right.
get.
Now, is there any personal goal you like to reach with this new album?
Not really, that mindset,
Right.
I have that during the writing process.
Right. Uh-huh.
So during the writing process, I am thinking about nothing else than this record.
Uh-huh.
The people in my inner circle, they go crazy, because they talk to me and I'm like, huh, what? Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
because I can't listen to anything. I hear something on a radio. I hear a melody on the elevator. I hear, and I try
Right.
to, put everything in context to the record, and I try to take my notebook out in the middle of some conversation. As I'm like, sorry, man, I have
Yeah.
to write that down and stuff like that. So I want to do my very best, and I want to reach the top of my game
Right.
when I'm writing songs.
Right.
But once that has happened,
Right.
I just let go. I just like, here it is.
Yeah.
If everybody loves it, I'm happy. If nobody likes it, I did my best.
Uh-huh.
And I just let go, and I embrace every good situation
Right.
that these songs create
Uh-huh.
when we're on stage and people sing along, or when people get married to those songs, and we get to know about these things, and all these situations that wouldn't have been created without these songs. They're make great memories, and great confirmations of the, let's call it, the importance of the band. So that's pretty much all I care about. And I don't set any goals, because they're out of your reach, they're out of your control. You can't control the success or the importance of a record, or of a song that's out of your reach. So why would you care about that then?
Yeah. Is there anything when you're on stage and you're singing a particular song or any song, um, what goes through your mind? Make sure you get the lyrics, or just looking at how the people's reaction is. What goes in your mind during that time?
That really depends on the song, and it
Huh?
depends on your physical shape,
Right.
and mental shape. So sometimes it's the 105th show of the year, and you kind of,
Right.
catch yourself thinking about, you know uh I don't know, like, uh did I whatever shut the oven down back home,
Right.
or what's for dinner tomorrow, or and then you realize, oh right, there were 2,000 people right in front of me, so get back in the game. So that happens very, very rarely, but it happened, and
Right.
it happens. But sometimes when it's new material, you're excited.
Right.
You focus on the lyrics, because it's not flesh and blood
Right.
already. But when you play songs that you have played for a while,
Right.
and then, yeah, I focus pretty much on the audience.
Right.
And I like I said, I want to have fun myself.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I realized, or got to that point of view, that over the years, the more I enjoy myself and the more
Right.
I enjoy what I do, the more people get loose and follow my lead, and they enjoy themselves even more, and or they express their enjoyment more. So I try to not be too much of a showman. That's what I said, like, just be yourself, just enjoy the spirit of rock and roll music here, and be a good example for everybody, so everybody gets loose and enjoys themselves. So I try not to think too
Right.
much, but of course, sometimes I think of people that I wrote songs about.
Right. Yeah.
I wrote songs for my friends. I wrote songs for women I really loved along the way.
Uh-huh.
And when I sing some verses that I know I wrote that verse about that woman, and I don't write whole songs about one person
Right.
most of the times, but some pictures in some songs, some lines, some words
Right.
are connected very, very deeply to one particular person. And I then if you can't help yourself but seeing that person every time you sing that song.
Right, right, right. It must be a big impact when you're on stage singing a song and you got people singing right back at you your lyrics.
Especially when you're at a place that you've never been,
Right.
or that you don't know anybody at, you know.
Yeah.
So when we go to Rockfest Barcelona this year,
Yeah.
and you show up on stage and you start singing Whiskey Nightmare or some song, you know, and especially Down by the River is a song that connects people together, you know. And it might sound a little cheesy, you know, but in a world and in time where everybody is, you know, gets their elbows out and tries, you know, to survive by themselves and try to, you know, be the first in line, and is afraid to lose their, you know, existence or their meaning or whatever, and everybody tries to find meaning, everybody tries to get their 15 minutes in the spotlight and everything, and then sometimes you create that moment where all of this doesn't matter. You sing a song and everybody sings along, people that don't know each other, you don't know them, but they don't know each other as well. But it seems for a minute, it seems like everybody knows each other and everybody likes the company of each other and everybody is fine with everybody. No competition, no elbows, no, you know, spotlight, attention drawing. So that whole thing vanishes, you know, and it's only that song and everybody sings along, and it sounds cheesy, but it's great to create the, you know, those rare moments every once in a while, and that really gives me peace and purpose in my life.
What's your family think about your success?
You know, my parents and me, we didn't get along for quite a while because I was like I was a total failure in school, you know, and I was pretty smart. I wasn't stupid. I wasn't like, you know, but I was just not showing up.
Right.
You know, I was out there and just I you know, my favorite book is Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn. Because I identified 100% with Tom Sawyer. This is like me, you know, 100%. He has nothing bad in mind, you know. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. He doesn't want to steal or be angry with anybody. But he, you know, he's just, you know, he just follows his crazy ideas, you know. He just wants to have fun and he wants to explore life, and he's in his mind, he's in his fantasies of being a pirate or being a whatever, you know. So he just follows those fantasies, and I did the same thing, you know. I couldn't help myself, and in school, like I wrote in Down by the River, school was nothing but some old man's books for me, you know. I was just like, I don't want to read some dusty old books. I want to go out and write my own story, you know.
Yeah.
So, but your parents, they're good parents, and they just want you to have a successful life. And of course, they're afraid when you're not going to school, and all, you know, the teachers, you know, go crazy and they write these letters, and you know, you're in trouble all the time. Of course, they get angry at a certain point, and they try to do what they capable of, you know. They said like, hey man, you got to find a job, and I did work for a while in a job, and a regular job, but it didn't work out either, you know, because I would get in trouble all the time. So, but when I started making music and being in my first band, they realized, or they recognized the change, you know. I got up early in the morning, you know. I would go to rehearsal every you know, every Friday night, you know. I would rehearsal, not in my rock band. I started off playing the saxophone in a jazz band, in a big band. So, and they would rehearse every Wednesday and every Friday night. So when I was 16, 15, 16, and everybody would go out to party, you know, in their school class, I would go to rehearsal, and I would never miss one rehearsal. You know, because I loved it so much. So my parents said, like, we never saw that. You know, I wasn't interested in anything, you know, and I was just straying around. So then I would show up rehearsal, I would practice. My parents would have never, they never had to tell me like, please practice guitar, please practice
Right,
saxophone. I would do it like all day long, you know,
right,
for myself. So they said like, hey, just go your way, man. Now we've, you know, this is your purpose. So they would support me like from the early beginning, and then I went out to do all my things, and um and I found myself in music. I found my purpose. I found my way to express myself and to find myself, and so many songs that I heard over the years from my favorite bands
right.
redefined myself. So I could yeah, get in touch with my parents again, and now we have a super connection, and they actually live with me these days. You know, they moved into my
Oh,
house, and we have, you know, we have dinner hopefully every day when I'm not on tour, and
uh,
so music kind of was the main missing link that, you know, made me an enjoyable person.
cool, 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 cool. So when you
Yeah.
got a new tune, do you let them hear it and give you, their opinion?
You know, sooner or later, yes, I do. But at first, I'm so busy, and I'm so with myself,
Right.
and um, I'm discussing the things with the band and with the management, and so there's so many opinions on the songs already that
Yeah.
it really it drives me crazy. So I don't show it around that
Right.
much. So
Uh,
when I know this is the song material, then I show it around to my inner circle. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the merchandise you have available.
You know, we do the usual thing. We're not a fancy
Uh,
band, so
right.
we're not Ramstar. We don't have New Roses dildos or anything. You know, not yet.
Yeah.
We, you know, we have just regular stuff. We have our shirts, we have our zippers, and we have our hats and little patches, and you know, stuff that people like. And we usually we take the artwork of the record, the whole like the vibe of the record,
Right.
and put it on the merch, and yeah, we, you know, it's pretty standard
Uh,
stuff. So we always release vinyl. All our records are released in vinyl as well.
that's cool.
You know, it's the main thing that we do, and apart from that, it's pretty standard, man.
Cool, cool. And the new CD is available everywhere?
Everywhere. So
Everywhere.
I don't know about the US. I don't know if you can buy it at any record store, but
Right.
you can download it on every platform, and you can order it on the usual stuff. You can order it on Amazon and all everything where you want, you know, want to get your CD. And so if you want to listen to our music, it shouldn't be too hard to get your hands on one copy.
You going back out on tour?
We're on in the middle of our German tour, and we then right after that, right before Christmas, we go into the UK, and we're doing France in early spring, and we're like trying to put pieces together to actually come over for our first US tour. But it's logistically, it's a pretty it's a challenge to get everything going and make it possible in a like in a reasonable way.
Right.
So, but we're working on that because we love the Kiss Cruise. It was the
Uh-huh.
only time at the moment that we played in the US, and we played there twice, and it was so cool, man.
Wow.
And all the American fans, they embraced our music so much. You know, we were afraid
Right.
because we were making American music, you know, and we were afraid that we would show up and American rock fans would say like, "What is this?" You know,
Right. Yeah.
we have American music, so why are German people showing up here and trying to, you know, bring us
Uh,
rock and roll, you know? So, but it wasn't that at all. So we showed up, we played our songs, and a lot of them say like, "Hey, we don't have many of those bands in America at the moment,"
right.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So they embraced our music very much, and that really motivated us and still motivates us to put together a US tour.
Well, Tim, congratulations on the new
Thank you,
CD,
sure.
Sweet Poison, uh, Napalm Records. Congratulations. And would you like to say anything
Sure.
to the fans?
Like I said, listen to the new material. It's we're very proud of the new record. It's reckless, it's premature, it's nasty and naughty. It has everything that a rock and roll record needs. And like I said, for all the US fans, we're very sorry that we don't come over as much and as often as we would like to, but we promise we're working on that, and we're trying to the best we can that we come over as fast and as hard as possible.
Oh, cool. Thanks very much. I'm glad we talked together.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, and nice question, really relaxed atmosphere. So I enjoyed your company very much, sir.
Thank you, man. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Take care.